All right, today we're diving into the mystery at the heart of a really complex literary thriller. And believe it or not, it all gets kicked off by one single, dusty old case file from 1992. See, the whole story is built on this one simple but incredibly powerful idea that the written word isn't just for keeping records. Nope, it's a force that can literally create and destroy worlds. The paper has a voice, and in this story, it's about to sing a very, very dark song. I mean, think about it, right? The exact same material, a piece of paper, some ink, can be used for something totally mundane, like your grocery list, or it can be used for something as final as your own death certificate. It all just depends on the symbols you write down. And in this story, one old file holds exactly that kind of life or death power. So this concept, this is the engine that drives the entire mystery. Let's really get into how a single document, just a few pages, can be powerful enough to completely unravel a man's entire reality. You know, our whole world is literally built on paper. Our laws, our religions, the wars we fight, heck, even huge brands are really just ideas made real by a few symbols on a page. The story basically treats words like a kind of magic, a force that shapes everything we see. So how does this all turn into a mystery? Well, it doesn't start with some big, flashy event. It all begins in the seemingly quiet, totally ordinary world of Italy back in 1992. On one side, you've got our main guy, Cesare Serafini. He's this timid accountant, a man whose life is all about numbers and routines. And on the other side, you've got the chaotic, incredibly violent history of Italy's years of lead, a period of history he knows nothing about. Well, his quiet world is about to collide head-on with that past. So the whole story is jumping between these two completely different timelines. You have 1974 and 1992, separated by almost 2 decades, but they are on an absolute collision course, and the past is about to haunt the present in a very real and very dangerous way. And what sparks this collision? It's something so boring, so routine. It's just another loan application. File 283/92, handed in by a quiet, unassuming man named Settimio Dominici. It's just a piece of paper, right? Or is it? Because this simple file, it becomes a portal. As Cesare starts to read it, he gets thrown back in time. And so do we, right into the middle of the gritty, violent chaos of Milan in 1974. And this is not just a simple flashback. It's like we're plunged into a totally different world. A version of Milan that's described as a jungle of radical politics, just full of revolutionary anger and this constant threat of violence bubbling right under the surface. While he's reading, Cesare uncovers this brutal crime at the very heart of the story. Turns out Settimio, the guy from the loan application, had a daughter named Stella. She was kidnapped. Months later, a body was found, but it was so horribly disfigured by acid, it took the police a whole month just to identify her. It was a closed case, but the paper in this file seems to be telling a completely different story. As Cesare digs deeper and deeper, he starts to realize that the official story is just a lie. He's peeling back the layers of a boring financial document and discovering a hidden, violent world that is very much alive. And now, it's watching him. And then he sees him. Cesare spots Settimio Dominici, the applicant from the file. But he doesn't look like a timid old man anymore. He's sitting in a car, watching a white van with this intense, hardened focus. The guy asking for a loan suddenly looks like a hunter, and Cesare realizes he might be the one being watched. Yeah, this isn't just a cold case. It's a full-blown conspiracy. Hidden inside the file are clues about this sinister, almost supernatural society. And we're not talking about simple criminals here. We're talking about shamans who believe words are actual weapons and who perform these elaborate, horrific human sacrifices to gain power. And this hidden world, it operates on this totally mind-bending principle. It's this idea of powerful, unseen connections that tie people together, whether they have any idea about it or not. The story puts forward this incredible idea that names are not just labels. They have weight. They have their own gravity. And when two names get close enough, they start to orbit each other, pulling the people they belong to into each other's lives, sometimes in creative ways, but in this case, in a deeply destructive one. And so these 3 names, Cesare, Settimio, and Stella, are now locked in this gravitational dance. Their fates, even though they're separated by decades and totally different lives, have become completely tangled up, all because of the words written in that one file. Pratica, 283/92. And that's where the story leaves us, with this incredible question. What happens when a totally ordinary man stumbles upon an extraordinary and terrifying truth that was hidden in plain sight on a simple piece of paper? How far is he willing to go, and what will that truth do to him in the end?